Hey, what's up? It's Rashad, Mr. Antonio. The Upon Further Review. We are back, and today we are reviewing an entire series because Amazon was too dumb to make this a weekly drop, and that is Fallout on Amazon Prime. All spoilers. We're gonna ruin the whole season if you haven't seen it. I would,
Why do you think they did that?
because I don't think they had the confidence in it.
You know what else I think too? I think why they did it too, because when they did that with the Lord of the Rings series or whatever, I can't remember. They went week by week with it.
Yeah, they did.
They went week by week, and there were some people that said that there was a sect of people who didn't like the show or whatever, who didn't like the show, and they fell off of it. And I think that's probably why what they thought might have happened again. So it's like, yo, we just gonna drop
But
everything.
I don't know, but
Hey
like
man,
it was the premise is totally different. And also
yeah.
just the whole point of like how they went about making that show was different as well, because that was made
Mm-hmm.
in the midst of the pandemic. So I
Yeah.
feel like they kind of hamstrung their own selves with some of that. Some of that was their own doing. And
Mm-hmm.
you could tell because in the first like 4 or 5 episodes, the joints was slow. But
Yeah.
with
Definitely.
this, when I mean Tony,
Mm-hmm.
episode one, the end,
Mm-hmm.
that is how you make a pilot episode.
Mm-hmm.
What, like, I don't, okay. This is one of the better pilots for a
Yes.
series
Mm-hmm.
because they clearly lay out everything you need to know about this world.
Right. And
And
even if you really don't know for sure, they give you enough to where you like, I want to stick around just to figure out what's going
by
on.
the end of episode one, I was like, oh, I am hooked.
Mm-hmm.
I am hooked because okay, I'm gonna compare this to, I'll probably say just the best video game adaptation yet. That's Last of Us. Okay.
Yes.
So there's a
Yes.
lot of very few similarities, but a lot of differences. And one of
Mm-hmm.
the first differences they did is that this story is a sprawling story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Last of Us is very centered and concentrated,
Mm-hmm.
wherein we have like Joel and Ellie going to different places.
Mm-hmm.
We have one place with maybe 3 or 4 different factions because we
Mm-hmm.
got the people in the vaults 31 through 33. We
Mm-hmm.
have the Brotherhood. We
Mm-hmm.
also have the Ghoul,
Mm-hmm.
and we also have just the random
The top,
people,
the top landers, just the
just
random
the,
top
just the
landers.
people just who we outside. You know what I'm saying? We
Yeah.
got them
Yeah.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Got the we outside people. You know what I'm saying? And and
Mm-hmm.
and you also have another faction of people
Mm-hmm.
who were in a
Within.
city, who
Mm-hmm.
were in a city, who are now quote unquote like raiders. So we got
Mm-hmm.
all these different factions, and the thing I appreciate the most is that they do a really good job of explaining all the parties.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Also, too, what I appreciate, this is an original. This the story is based off the video game, but is an original story.
It's an original
That's
story,
not.
and
Mhm.
it's canon to the game.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
if you play the game, you should be like, from what I've seen, when I've saw some other people reviews, they, because like again, we don't play no games like this. So
Mm-mm.
this is coming from a perspective of two individuals who are just watching a series. So if you
Mm-hmm.
if you comment and you say, "Oh, you're wrong about that. You're wrong about this," based on the show, I'm not wrong. It's just what was
Yeah.
presented. So I don't want y'all to be
Mm-hmm.
like overly upset when we miss something or don't know something. I don't know the lore. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
talking. We're just talking about what we saw, and we like what we
Mm-hmm.
saw for the most part. All right, so
Pretty much.
so cool out, yeah, cool out. All right,
Mm-hmm.
man. But that first episode, the end, man. Shout out to Johnny Nolan. You know what I'm saying? Directed that one
Little
himself.
brother.
Shout out to Johnny Nolan, our,
Don't
our
know.
our favorite homeboy from Westworld. You know what I'm saying? Him and his wife, Lisa Joy. Oh man,
Mm-hmm.
because they EP this as well. And I didn't even
Yeah.
realize he directed that episode. He directed the hell out of that first episode, boy.
And if some of y'all that might still be like, well, who's John? Little brother to Christopher Nolan,
Mm-hmm.
our
Chris
favorite,
Nolan's
uh, Chris Nolan, our favorite modern day director as of right now. You know, between probably me and Rashad. But yeah, I
mm-hmm.
mean, and I also find it funny too, the dichotomy of this. Christopher, Chris Nolan, just did a movie about dropping an atomic bomb in the history of
You are
Oppenheimer,
exactly right.
and now then Jonathan Nolan is doing this show based like the aftermath of a fictional world after a nuclear war between countries and stuff like that, and how it's affected this planet. So I just thought the dichotomy of that was great. Also, shout out to once again, I always give him a shout out, entertainment reporter at the station I work at, Kevin McCarthy. He actually brought that up too when he interviewed Jonathan Nolan and told him that. He was like, interesting that you noticed that, so it's kind of so
Shout
that was the
out
thing with
Kevin
that.
with the good questions at the junket, because sometimes those questions be trash. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the talent gets very annoyed because they don't answer these questions
Yeah.
all day long. Yeah.
One thing, just giving Kevin another shout out. One thing I say about him, every time he does one of these interviews, all these celebrities always be like, "Oh, that is a good question." That because Kevin comes from a place where he loves the process of filmmaking. He loves that process. He wants to know certain things. So he asks questions that nobody else would really think about, but it's stuff that like an actor or a director be like, glad you asked that. Let me tell you why I felt, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, shout out Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah,
So
man.
back to this show.
All right. I want to talk about the world for a minute.
Yes, that's what I want to get to.
And I'm
This
gonna
was
be honest, like the world is my favorite part of this show.
mm-hmm.
By far. Like, we don't get to like the actors and stuff, but like just the Fallout world to me is so, it's just okay. So we're in the year 2077.
Mm-hmm.
It's looking like the Jetsons out here,
Yeah.
literally and figuratively, because we have futuristic stuff with this 50s, early 60s vibe. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like even like the homes are like mid-modern.
Mm-hmm.
Cars are like that like GMs and like Chryslers from the 50s era.
Studebakers looking like
Yeah, we got
vehicles and
like
stuff. Yeah.
like 6'4" Impala type shapes and
Mm-hmm.
all those stuff. Like, yo, like the
Because
aesthetic is crazy.
they tell you off the top the year 2077, and I'm watching it, and I was just like, this don't look like 2077.
That's what I'm
I'm
saying.
like, it looks like it's like the 1950s in the early 60s or whatever. And even not just in the architecture, even the clothing.
Everything.
The clothing, because the guys, what I'm saying, so like the main character Coop, he's a cowboy type thing, and he's doing a party, and the kid is dressed like him, like almost like how kids used to dress as Howdy Doody during that, what I'm saying, during that time period. And it's and like Rashad would just say it to me, when this world, they had it made basically like how during the 50s and 60s when they had magazines and stuff and comics and stuff, how they felt the future was going to look. It was still going to be like the 1950s, 60s look with the architecture and everything. By the way, I'm a nerd for that. I do like the 50s and 60s architecture and buildings and some houses and stuff. It has that look, but it has futuristic things with it. So it's crazy. It's crazy with that. Yeah.
It was, yeah, they really like they really lean into that a lot, especially like
Mm-hmm.
how, let's just say for example, Coop, right? So we got Coop
Mm-hmm.
is at this point in the story, he's a failed actor.
Mm-hmm.
On hard times. His wife left him. He got paid alimony. It's him and his
Mm-hmm.
daughter doing this gig together.
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing the news come up. And the lady's like, oh man, so the talks between the um
China.
the China and the whatever
Mm-hmm.
have broken, you know what I'm saying? Nuclear war is probably imminent. She, man, talk this up. Happy stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
as they're having this good time, you see that the dad is like talking about Coop, like, look, yo, man, like your man's out here doing birthday parties. Your
Mhm.
man is poor right now. So
Yeah, he's a poor,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He said, and he's really just sunning his man, acting stupid, just being a jerk.
Mhm.
And
And
then
remember he told him, he said, "Hey man, give your thumbs up for the picture
he was like,
for
man,
the kid."
I don't be really
Yeah.
doing that no more, yo. Like I don't.
Mhm.
And then you see later on, like, why. So he tells his daughter, she's like, yo, dad, why don't you do the thumbs up? He said, look, I was in the military. And when you in the
Mhm.
military, you put your thumb up. If you see that cloud come up, which means they already had nuclear war. So you see the
Mhm.
thumb come up, size of your thumb, you run. He said, if it's bigger than your thumb,
Too late.
it's too late. So
Mhm.
as they're having this conversation and they're talking and he's trying to get his daughter some cake. You know what I'm saying? And he's just feeling very sad and just
Mhm.
downtrodden by this whole thing. And then daughter's looking, and shout out to this little actress because the
Yeah.
terror on her face as
Mhm.
that bomb cloud as that bomb went off and the mushrooms is starting to develop, she says,
Mhm.
oh, oh.
Uh-oh. And she's like, "Daddy."
Dad, is it bigger than your thumb or my thumb? And
Uh-huh.
then all literal hell breaks loose. We see
Yeah.
even in futuristic 2077, racism
People
still
are trying.
exists.
Yes. My man had a bomb. So the house that was at was this white guy, and he had a bomb shelter. He goes down, and the guy that's like supposedly, I guess, his best
This
friend or
is
something.
boy, they
They
was
sit
on there
there,
just making
his
fun of
boy. They were just
Uncle.
sitting there. They were just sitting there ishing on Coop or whatever. He runs towards the bomb shelter to be like, "Hey man, let me and my kid go." That white dude stole on him, said, "Not today, black guy." Knocked him out, and then got the bomb shelter. Everybody hopping in the cars trying to run. Coop's like, "Got no car. I got this horse. Yeah, mule." He hops on the horse with his daughter, and they're just trying to get away from, you know, the because you started seeing other nuclear bombs
Yo,
dropping
it
too
was lighting up
in the city.
LA. It was
Yeah,
lighting LA up.
yeah, lighting LA completely up. And next thing you know, screen fades to black.
And then we
And
just
then
jump
we
into like 219 years
290,
later.
200, yeah, 220 years later. I said, good God
I
Almighty,
said that is a
220 years later.
jump. And then we see the basis of what is going to be a lot of our story, and that is Volts 33.
33.
And we started with Lucy and Lucy's dad, like Mr. like
Mm-hmm.
Hank. And we see
Mm-hmm.
the other people in there. Shout out to that dude that just be on everything, playing all the characters. Black guy. He was in Spider
Yeah.
Man. He was
Hey,
in
Spider Man, do a
do a
flip.
flip.
He was in Shang-Chi
He was a song
when they
she.
was fighting on the bus
Yeah,
and everything recording.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Shout out to him. Shout out to Blind Al. It was in the joint
Yeah,
too
blind out. Yeah.
from
Deadpool.
Deadpool. Yeah, I'm about to say
Mm-hmm.
Daredevil. I said that's not it. Yeah,
Yeah,
so we got
Deadpool.
a couple of good good character actors in this. A lot of people actually came through for this as well, like just randomly
Mm-hmm.
showing up. Like Fred Armisen is in this. Eric Estrada
Yeah.
pops up. I was like, is
Yeah,
that Eric
Eric.
Estrada?
Yeah, I
Same
was
hell.
like, I said, hold on, that accent sounds like it's Eric Estrada. It didn't sound
Same,
like. I said, is that?
same man.
It is Eric
So he
Estrada.
looks good. Man. Not a man like
It's
80 years
Punch,
old.
yo. It's
Yeah. A little shorts, man.
California Highway International Patrol.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and we get another one I'll talk about a little bit later. But yeah, so we have the Volts, and there's this like very idyllic society, and it would lead you to believe that they're the only people that are alive because they are feeding them this dogma that when it's safe to go above ground, we're going to repopulate the earth and we're going to be the ones to rule over the others. You know what I'm saying? Because we do have because basically they're trying to just tell like, look, yo, like it's there's some stuff going on. They're paying me some irradiated people that are gonna need our help. They're
Mm-hmm.
sick, and we're gonna help them,
Yeah,
and which is
and they are. they are the most naive, idiotic group of folk that you could possibly ever think of. And
Yes.
and to give the little quick thing about the vaults, this company known as Vault Tech created all these vaults. I'm not sure around the world, but I'm saying I believe in the U.S.
At
all
least
around the
at
country,
least in America.
in America, and these vaults is like some of these vaults are connected to other vaults or whatever, and each vault basically has like different functions that they special, saying they specialize in. So Vault 33 seems to be they specialize in like the agriculture of corn, saying with
Yeah,
corn
making
and
corn. Like
this
that whole
corn and
diet
stuff.
is like corn. Reminds me of Interstellar. You know what I'm
Interstellar,
saying?
yes, Interstellar. So Lucy, they show she talks about her days there where she volunteers teaching, she's teaching, she's learning some form of martial arts that evidently she sucks at. Don't get me started on that, and all this other stuff. And basically she volunteers for an arranged marriage with a dweller in Vault 32. Mind you, on top of that, her father is the overlord of Vault 33. All these vaults have one person that is over who runs the entire vault.
Yeah, the
And
overseer.
overseers, I said overlord, yeah, overseer. And so she's like really excited, like, I'm getting married, blah, 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 blah. And this is when it gets weird for me. I don't know if it got weird for you at this point or whatever. And her best friend comes out. Her best friend is pregnant. She's already married or whatever. And she's like, oh my God, you get to finally have sex. And I'm not talking like, do stuff not cousin related. I said, I beg your pardon.
You see, yeah,
But
not
whatever.
cousin stuff. It
Not
counts this
cousin
time.
stuff.
So it counts this time. It's not cousin
Right, it
stuff.
counts this time instead of cousin stuff. And I was like, I beg your pardon. What? And so
That was the first red flag. I was like, excuse me.
yeah, I said, excuse me. And so, and so there's this, I guess apparently it's this one dress that circulates throughout the vaults whenever the women get married or whatever, because they have like the date that they're getting married, the person who wore the date inside of it. And she goes to her father, and her father's like, yeah, this is gonna be a good thing because this is a trade. We're gonna get some more trade along with, I'm saying, with Vault 32 or whatever. Then it gets another red flag where her cousin, what's that? Is that Chet?
Yeah, Chet. You're right.
Chet, who's in charge of he's the Vault Keymaster, who's in charge. He goes to open. Oh, there seems to be a problem opening Vault 33. And they was like, what? He was like, I don't know. Maybe it might take a couple of days or something like that. And so she has some technical skills. And she says, hold on, let's look at this. And then he grabs her by the hand and was like, don't do this. I love you. I love you. It should be me marrying you. And she was like, Chet, we're cousins. And I was like, what is going on? And so this dude, Chet, is apparently he's the cousin that she's been doing the cousin stuff with. And my man is in love with his cousin, and he wants to be the one to marry her. And she finally tells him, hey, this is for the good of the vault. They say, all right, open up the vault. Vault 32 people come out. All 32 people. It's just so weird. So the person that's in charge of Vault 32 comes out and was like, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And she's sitting there looking, trying to see what this person looks like that she has to marry. Because she hasn't met this guy. And he steps forward. She looks, her eyes get big, like, oh, yeah. Even her best friend who's married, stomach out to hit her with some, I wish I would have had that pick or something.
Like, yeah, she got a good one.
She got a good one. And her husband looked at her like, the hell wrong with you?
I'm right here. You know what I'm saying?
I'm right here. So they get married, and then they're having the reception. The father is like, Hank is so happy for Lucy, blah, blah, blah. But you notice the Vault 32 people are acting weird.
Yo, they was looking mad grimy. They got like cuts, looking dirty.
Yeah, they were looking weird. Oh, super duper weird as hell and everything. And during this time, Lucy has a brother. Lucy has a younger brother. That dude is, no offense to anyone that is short, but he was like abnormally short. Norm sneaks over into Vault 32 just to look around, and he's like, the hell is this crop is destroyed? They have like this crop like it's been gone for a minute. He's looking around, and it's interchange between him looking around and then his sister goes back to her domicile with this guy, and they start and she's like, yeah, blah blah blah, this and that. My man had already got my man had already stripped down. Hold on, we can take it back, Rashad. Bucket naked. He bucket naked, and she's like, oh, okay. And her horny tail, like, all right, let's go. She slammed that man down, and they start to. She don't even take the dress off. They
Nah.
just get the going. Her brother notices that there is a dead person in Vault 32, and he's like, oh snap, people in Vault 32 are dead. These are Raiders portraying. And after they finish, doing the do, he proceeds her husband proceeds to do possibly one of the most disgusting things I have ever seen. And that should have been another red flag with this.
It was to her. She's like, that was weird.
He basically, after finished doing the do with her, he walks over to the window and he's looking out. There's a curtain there, and he proceeds to let's just say wipe himself off.
He said, wipe me down.
Wipe me down. And I'm not talking about his buttocks. He was wiping.
Yo, so Lucy's like,
Yeah.
And then this man goes to the sink and drinks some water like it was the best water he ever had in his life. And she was like, puts on her little Pit Boy. It's like, let me check to see this man has radiation. That thing is spiking. And another little thing I like too, with that, you can hear the Geiger counter thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'll say. And after that, the next like 10 minutes,
all hell breaks loose.
It is straight carnage. I mean, the Raiders are doing Raider things. I mean, it's just a really good scene of people fighting, people killing, people dying, people dying by mistake. It was that scene. Johnny directed the hell out of that. I was that's what I said. Okay, I see what it's about to be.
Girl fighting with a fork hanging out of her eye socket and everything.
Yeah, she was a real one, y'all. Like there was a that whole sequence was really cool, and I was like, man, I like this show. So we then basically we have like the next scene where we have a standoff, and Hank's like, oh, I'll go with them. So Hank has the lady who's the leader of them, Moldover. Moldover. That's how you pronounce her name, right? I feel like that's what it.
Dover, whatever.
Yeah. Moldover, and like she takes him with the Raiders, and now that kind of sets off the hero's journey arc for Lucy. So we have her being. Go ahead.
I ain't gonna lie, I did chuckle when she realized that he was the guy that she married was radiated, and after smashing her cheeks and everything, and he like threw her against the wall when she realized what it was. He was like, I gotta admit, this is the best day of my life. Best day of my life. After that, I want to say that part. I cracked up. I said,
yo, this man is a jerk. He was honest though.
For real.
He's like, oh man, it's bad. I gotta kill you. But so then he goes to the Raiders who end up, you know what I'm saying, surviving.
Yeah.
They dipped, and we got a couple of Raiders who just end up were hurt. They stayed behind. Actually threw them in the brig, like a makeshift brig for them. The next couple of episodes we can kind of talk about as a whole thing. Yeah. So Lucy goes off does her whole hero journey thing to go find her dad. All right. Then we have the kind of like the converse. We meet our boy Maximus. You know what I'm saying? Who has the erroneous name, because ain't nothing Maximus about him at the beginning of this show. Maximus is King Lil Ho. When I mean he is literally cleaning up Dookie, like for the first, like it's like every day, Groundhog Day
The
with him.
first thing we see him, he's getting his ass whipped. He's getting bullied and getting his ass whipped by these people,
For
because he
real.
is a member of the Brotherhood of Steel.
And these people have made a religion around basically keeping the peace and fighting. That's like their whole thing. Like we
And
like
preserving old technology.
yeah, preserve our old yeah, that too. So that they have this whole thing where it's like this it's really like they're really odd. It's like they're
Yeah.
doing like a couple of things. They have like this weird, almost like mystical side to them. Then they have
Uh-huh.
this very practical side. Then there's
Uh-huh.
just the hierarchy of
Mm-hmm.
what and who you can be. And
Mm-hmm.
our boy right now is at the lowest rung of the totem pole,
Yep.
and it's him and his friend. What's his friend's name?
Um
Um, what is that?
Dern Dane. Dane is her name.
Dang, yeah, I'm pretty sure Dane is a they. So
Yes, he's the
so
barmaid.
no, it's all good. Dane and Maximus are like that's the only friend that he has.
Uh-huh.
And Dane and them are trying to be squires. Squires
Mm-hmm.
are essentially um little punk little punks for the knights.
Yeah.
So, and the
And the
thing is, they don't
knights.
even care
Mm-hmm.
because it's better
What
than
the
being
knights?
on the base.
Yeah.
So there's this whole ceremony thing. There's like they got to go through like a trial or whatever, and Dane gets in. Maximus don't.
Don't forget to explain the knights either too.
Oh
These
yeah,
knights
the knights
don't
are.
think don't think of like King Arthur style. They're basically in metal
Yeah, they're
suits.
like
You
mech
know what I'm saying?
suits. Yeah,
Iron mech suits or whatever. They're inside of them. Not super big, but big enough. And the squires are basically there to help them get in and out the suit, and also kind of like, do stuff that squires back during that time period had to do
you gotta do the
or
grunt
whatever,
work.
like
Yeah.
grunt work, exactly, like that. So they see a bunch of knights come in and like, oh my god, they're wearing the T60 or whatever, like the certain type of uniform, but apparently that type of armor has been around for 200 plus years, because we later find out that our boy Cooper that we talked about earlier, when he was in the Marines, he wore that uniform as well. Um, so Dane gets picked, and then we wake up the next morning and you see she's like, ow, ow, ow. And she takes her boot off, but it's a razor blade in the boot. And it's like cutting her even more as she's taking it off. And they're all like, yo, what the hell is going on here? And for some reason, everyone just points at Maximus and they snatch Maximus up, and they proceed to interrogate the hell out of this dude. And the reason that Maximus is even doing this because he fantasized being a knight, because his city was destroyed and he was saved by one of the, one of the knights when he
and
was a little
I
kid.
think
So,
that realization is probably one of the best reveals of the show.
uh-huh.
The fact
Yeah.
that his city was a newer city. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
for some reason, you be thinking like, yo, like, is he? Was he? How is he around when his city got
Yeah.
bombed? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
because you're
nah,
thinking, yeah, because he's like New Los Angeles, because you're sitting there thinking like, how are these people functioning topside and everything, topside and everything like that.
yeah.
And
So
so
that's
they go ahead, Rashad. I'm
no,
sorry.
no, you good. I'm sorry. Like that whole reveal of Sandy Shores. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? How like that was an actual city that was developed after the like after the bombs fell, probably like 100 years
Yeah.
later or whatever.
Yeah.
And also the fact that Moldova was over that and was running that and all of that
Mm-hmm.
was like I think that was one of the better reveals to me. Also,
Mm-hmm.
I think that like this is like my only gripe with the series.
Uh-huh.
Well, two. One is that episodes like 5, 6, and 7 could have been truncated. You know what I'm saying? Because the middle of the season, we was here. We started here, and then we kind of did here, and then we went back up. The middle episodes could have been
It was a little
condensed.
plateau. It was a little plateau a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit,
Cause
but
like
then they picked it back
I
up.
was cool with it. We was learning a lot of stuff, but like they kind of they kind of strung it out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And then we went back up with the last couple of episodes that kind of brung everything together, and all those reveals that we got, especially like the Moldover and the Sandy Shores, and the fact that he was there when the thing blew up and all that, and the Brotherhood saved him, and like that part of for me would have been, I don't know, like I'm just tired of, to be honest, of like that whole like way of storytelling where I'm gonna hold everything off. It's like the next to last episode.
Yeah. Um. So yeah. So they question this boy, and he ends up taking his homie's place as a squire to this knight, and this knight is such a jerk to him or whatever. Like he's like, "Is there anything I can do for you?" The knight takes the metal cup off that he has a scrub. It's basically like his private metal area or whatever. He's just
Shine my cock plate. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
so
yeah.
unnecessary.
Told him shine my cock. I was like, yo, what in the world? And then they go. He was, and then I was like, so this idiot Lord Titus, which is the name, who says, I feel like shooting and killing something. Like what? And so they lower him from a helicopter with the squad with Max the Squire. And man, they got to take this big, ridiculously huge bag. I granted there's a lot of stuff in that bag that helps them, but they got like
That
water
bag
rations.
is like 7 feet long.
Yeah. So they had the knight's gun, like machine gun in there. It had food rations, it had water, it had the health pack for if you felt like you check your vitals and you was getting radiated, it helped irradiate, you know what I'm saying, to deradiate your body and stuff. But this idiot goes out and is like, yeah, and he want to kill something. And you go to see that this knight is the biggest punk you could ever. He was like, oh, ish. Oh, I gotta go. Because he got chased by like a mutated, radiated bear, got mauled in the process. And he's like, shoot it. Maximus shoots it. He's like, and then he's like, and you see him take off his stuff. It's Michael Rappaport.
And when I saw that, I was like,
it was Michael Rappaport.
Of course, it's Michael Rappaport.
And Michael Rappaport proceeds to be like, "You idiot! How could you let this happen to me?" He says, "Oh, you go catch it now, whatever." And the dude's like, "I'm sorry, Lord Titus." And then finally, my man's like, "Hey man, I'm so tired of you talking." He was like, "Give me a stim pack so I can heal up." He sits down and said, "Nah, you don't deserve it." He says, like I said, Maximus is so into the whole lore of the knights. You're a coward, blah, blah, blah. You ran. He sits there and watches this man die and then proceeds to the rest of the show act like he was Lord Titus and go around being a knight, ignoring orders from from the leadership of the
from the
the
Brotherhood,
Brotherhood of Steel.
fumbling
And
the suit several times. Like like he was really like he earned his keep by the end of the series, even though he didn't really even want to do it, but he found a place, so he's like, man, I might as well stay there. So that's the funny thing too. The next person I want to talk about is probably my favorite character of the show, and that's the Ghoul by far. Shout out to hopefully when they're friend of the pod, Wilson Goggins. I mean, that's one of my favorite actors, yo. Like I just love him because he can do anything. You know what I'm saying? He even had like a CBS sitcom where he was a single dad because I'm sorry, he was a widowed father of two girls, and he was killing that role. He can do anything. And this role of him playing this gunslinging, basically zombie, he is killing. He's just killing folks indiscriminately. He has the best one-liners. and
Yeah.
he's really out here acting like he is really a cowboy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He
Shout out
died.
to him. Shout out to him being also in Django Unchained, and another one of my Tarantino favorite, The Hateful Eight. He was hilarious in The Hateful Eight or whatever. But
Walton Goggins
yeah,
is the man, yo. So like,
yeah,
and definitely wasted him in Ant-Man being Sonny Birch. But anyway, um his arc about the whole thing, he really has one goal. And again, another reveal that I that was like we could have been just said this.
yeah.
His whole point is he's trying to find his family. He's trying to find his wife and he's trying to find his daughter. So that implies that
220 years later, by the way.
so that's it. So it tries to imply that he knows that his people could be alive. You know what I'm saying? Which I was like, oh, that makes sense because he's just on a warpath like for nothing, basically. He just really just running
Yeah,
around. Just if you look at it from like a high level view, he's just killing people for fun. You know what I'm saying? Like with
yeah,
no real aim.
yeah.
With no real aim. He's trying to get to a place.
Yo,
And we don't even know why.
his bullets were diabolical, yo. Cause his bullets, they shoot, but on impact they blow up. I said, wow, that is completely crazy. And none of this probably wouldn't have happened when he first comes on the scene if somebody would just left him alone, because he was, the thing is, it was like, hey, dig him up and use him if you want to, saying, for a bounty if you need him. They had like they were pumping the drugs into him because he's a ghoul, and ghouls are basically people who have been mutated due to
Radiation.
all of the radiation, everything like that. And ghouls are pretty much normal people under control, but after a while they start to tweak and tick and they become zombie like or whatever. Now mind you, they don't they become zombie like, but them biting somebody don't turn that person
Yeah.
into, say, don't turn the person into a zombie. The only way to keep them from becoming full-blown zombie like is drugs. And I mean like drugs like cocaine, liquid meth, heroin, that type of stuff keeps them. So so they have to he has these valves that he has to constantly like inhale in like an asthma pump to make sure that he doesn't go feral, as they say. So you see him throughout the entire season, just talking about him, you know on a mission, because the MacGuffin of this show is this person that left
The doctor.
the doctor who left. What was that? The Brotherhood of Steel, or was that? No,
No,
it was
that was the Enclave.
the Enclave. He left the
Yeah.
Enclave or whatever.
Wizig.
And like, right,
Wilzig.
Wizzy.
Yeah,
And whatever.
Wilzig.
You see like a little intro of what happened to him like in episode 2 or 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
And he creates
Cold
what
fusion.
cold fusion, what we're trying to still work on in real time here or whatever. It's the theory of cold fusion. And he realizes that the Enclave is on some bull, and to protect the cold fusion he created, he injected it into
To his
head,
neck.
like
Yeah.
right there, his neck and his head. And so, he goes missing. So a bounty is put out for this guy or whatnot. In the process, this guy, the ghoul shoots this man's leg off. And then Lucy somehow gets caught up because she's trying to find her father. She's being naive as she could be. So the ghoul is trying to, collect a bounty so he can get, because he wants to get to find out where his wife and stuff is. And because he heard the name Moldova, and he was like, I know who the hell that is.
I know that is.
Or whatever. And then somebody showed a picture, and he was like, I know Moldova, but they ain't the Moldova I remember from back in the day, because he's been 200. And that was another reveal to show that have been around for 200 some odd years too. And you're wondering the whole time, how are these people hanging around for 200 years? Goes back into Vault 31, 2, and 3. Come to find out, Vault 31 was the vault where all of the people who were executives, heads, or and executive trainees for Vault Tech, they were put in cryo
Shoot,
and
even
cryo freeze.
even the secretary.
even the secretary, who was daggone God, I can't think of her name on the show, but she ended up, basically Blind Al from that was younger version of her or whatnot. And they basically, and it comes to find out Lucy's father is a part of this as well. He was a founder, and he remembers all these people because when she says her name, when she meets the ghoul, and she says her name, he says McLean. No, McLean. She was like, yeah, my father's Hank McLean. He was like,
Okay.
uh-huh. And so that's why. And so she doesn't even know why. She doesn't figure out until the end of why the guru like treated her like trash or whatever, because he was a part of this thing. Like, you see where she tries to get away from him. She bites this man's finger off. He catches her and said, hold on. He takes out his knife and cuts her finger off and be like, there, we even. I said, what is going on here? And then you see how even more weird this place is. He takes her to like an organ harvesting building because he ran out of his drugs and he needs some more drugs. And she goes and and there's this robot there, and she's like, oh, I thought I was being sold to be a sex slave. He's like, oh, heavens no, we're here to help people. And it was like, oh no, we see you lost your finger. Come here, let's see, we might have some in here. I said, wait a minute, what's going on here? He opens up a drawer and sees this. Luckily we got some fingers. We got that same finger. He said it'd have been horrible for you to walk around with a thumb at you where your index finger is. He basically attaches another like
Random
dead
finger.
random thing because it's grayish black, and he's like basically reattaches it, and she can use that fingernail like nothing. I said, when that technology is invented, if it ever is, that's gonna change the game. That's gonna change the game for a lot of
Yeah,
people in real
that
world type
was
stuff.
that was hilarious. Do that all that just to say, yeah, we here to harvest your organs. It's like
Yeah,
what?
yeah, right. We here to harvest your organs or
And
whatever.
the funny thing, that whole scene like sets up the whole Sandy Shores thing because she didn't
Mm-hmm.
eventually see, and like it's funny how this
I know
is
what you're about to
like
say.
this place is like it's big, but it's like a small area because
Mm-hmm.
everybody keeps crossing paths. You know what I'm saying? And
You know,
even how
you talking about the ghoul that said thank you when she helped. He was at that the observatory at the end feeding people. He looked and was like, "Oh, that's old girl that that saved
mm-hmm.
me and let me out and everything."
Yeah, so like I do appreciate how they was doing that as well. But yeah, yo, like the ghoul was really was a really good character. The inclusion of the doctor with his head being a MacGuffin was hilarious. The fact
He said, "I
that
can't go on." He says, "I'm about to die. I'm gonna bleed to death." He said, "She was like, but you need to go. You don't need me.
you just need my
You
head.
need my head. Just cut my head off." And she was like, "Ew," so because Lucy in the first 6 episodes of this show is a complete idiot. And
Yeah.
I remember that text Rashad and was like, yo, the Vault people are some idiots, yo, for real. Because she was like, we live by the golden rule, do unto which everyone should live by. But girl, this is goddamn
Yo,
a
you not you
post-apocalyptic
because
world.
everyone
No.
was saying like, look, yo, you need to go on back to the vault. You not really about this life.
Yo, they were playing the Vault people so hard on this show. They was like, they said, hey, y'all, look, it's a Vault person. We think they still alive out here. It was frying. They were frying them so hard, man. And it was like, girl, go back to the Vault. You have no idea what you're doing.
Nah,
And she's like, I
you
gotta get
shouldn't
my
even.
dad.
Nah, we don't care about that. Get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And like this playing on her shit like naivete about
Mm-hmm.
how she went about life was that was funny. Again, like around like episode 6, I'm like, all right, y'all, I'm gonna need y'all to smarten this character up a little bit
Mm-hmm.
because she's been outside enough for her to actually figure stuff out. And even with another character too, with like her parallel character, Maximus, he was the same way. Like they was really made that boy look like he was. How can I say this?
Say it.
They made that boy a hoe to the very end because he did some stuff like, all right, that's good. But even when he got to the reason why he even went to Sandy Shores was to save um
Her.
her and her dad. It wasn't for the brotherhood, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But they got all trooped up, it was ready and all that good stuff. And then when they get
Mm-hmm.
there, like that battle was crazy between the rep between the like the Raiders and the
And
Brotherhood.
yeah,
Another good like little like battle scene over all that. So
yeah.
when they find out when she finally gets to the final level, you know what I'm saying,
Uh-huh.
past the boss and all that because it's a video game, and sees
Mm-hmm.
dad, and she's like, let's say I said, nah, yo, my dad is trash. He's like, for real? And then what
Mm-hmm.
happens? Takes his suit and then he flies away. I'm like, dog, like you fumbled the bag like 3 times with this suit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Oh,
And
and got knocked out in the process
yes,
too.
yeah, yo, he been knocked out. Got knocked like 8 times this series,
Yeah,
this
that
season.
dude CTE. That dude CTE is real, yo, for real.
Yeah, it's on unimaginable levels right now. The also another thing too, like I like how they set up season 2 as well because
Mm-hmm.
you see dad fly away. Everything else pretty much resolved with everybody else. Maximus is like,
Uh-huh.
his homie was like, yo, this dude right here killed everybody. And he
Right.
is effectively like, it's gonna be like the head knight or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know what the position is called of the
Mo-
Brotherhood
and Moldova was able to give cold fusion to
to the
basically
city. Yeah.
to the city
Also,
of yeah.
randomly, her mom was, oh yeah, because she had a mom, and mom was end up like missing or whatever. Like her mom
Uh-huh.
was there, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that
They kept her
they
as a
kept it, yeah,
ghoul.
kept
Like
her mom as a ghoul. I don't know why Moldova did, because that was Moldova's friend, like
mm-hmm.
eventually, because her mom this
Yeah.
because they were saying her mom was lost. Now her mom escaped
Mm-hmm.
with her brother and with her. And those
Yeah.
memories, I wonder how they got her to have those memories not like be repressed, because she would have them, but it would feel like they were
Yeah. The
in the
simulate they was in that
vaults
simulation, but inside the
in
vault.
the
Yeah.
vault. But in real life, she was like, I can feel like the sun on like the sun on my face. And it was like that really
Mm-hmm.
happened, which was
Mm-hmm.
interesting. Another reveal at the end. But yeah, seeing him fly over to towards New Vegas and
Yeah.
hopefully having like the rest of the like the head people in Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
knowing that the ghoul is about to go to Vegas, I'm like, yeah, this season 2
Yeah.
might
The
be.
ghoul along with Lucy, because he
Yeah,
basically
yeah,
like tells
because
Lucy because Lucy did help the ghoul get his drugs. My man had his shit. He was like, "Oh snap! I done hit the jackpot or whatever." And he basically says, "Yeah, your daddy's some trash." He says, "I'm gonna get him, but I really just want to know where is my family." He wants his daughter, and he wants to see his ex-wife, because we're gonna find out his ex-wife was part of the plot
yo,
of Vault Tech. Because Vault Tech plot was they're trying to sell people to come into these vaults, and they orchestrated the whole war between the US and China so they could make money. And they got together with the other major companies in the world to be like, hey, let's stop fighting each other and let's just get this money the way we can. And then after a century or two, we can mold the world the way we want it to be, and everyone will be grateful
diabolical.
to us. And he found that out, and he was so hurt because he loved his wife, man. He loved that
Yeah,
Black Queen. By the way, y'all didn't know the ghoul had a sister for a wife, and she was a she devil, boy. She
she was a
was
looker. You know what I'm saying? As the old folks
yeah,
say.
she was a looker, but she was mean. She was mean as a rattlesnake, as my granddaddy would say, or whatever back
Yo,
in the day.
and like I think that reveal for me was like that was dope because
Yeah.
having his wife be essentially the stand-in person for Vault Tech, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even like there was somebody up over all of them looking down at
Mm-hmm.
them in shadow, so we won't even know who
Mm-hmm.
that dude is who's like
Yeah.
running everything. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of potential for this show, and it was a
One more
really good
person we
watch.
really ain't talk about reprising that we want to wrap it up.
Yeah, no, you good.
Brother Norm,
Norm, yo,
Lucy's brother Norm.
Norm was the MVP.
MVP
this.
of this because he started finding stuff out. He went when so him and cousin Chet, who wanted smash Lucy, they go into Vault 32, after everything settles down or whatever, and they're looking around because he tells them like, yo, they're looking, it was like, yo, how long does it take for a crop to go bad like this? And kind of realize, yo, this crop has been bad for years. And then they go in there and they find out that basically the people in Vault 32 revolted against Vault Tech. All the BS that was going on, you see, they was trying to get out. They was trying to get to Vault 31 and was like, yo, let us in, like in blood was written on the Vault 31 door where they couldn't get Thomas on let us in because all them vaults were connected to each other. So he realized what happened, and God, what was Blind Owl's character name, Rashad?
I forgot. I'll look it up.
Yeah, whatever. She now is the new overseer of Vault 33 now that Lucy's and Norman's dad is gone. And she sees him acting weird, and I think she figures out what he's done. So a couple of days go by, and she says, we're going to make an announcement. And she says the announcement is, we are going to repopulate Vault 32 with people from Vault 33. And they're like, what? And so there was like, they had some type of lottery happen where half the people in Vault 33 would stay where they are, but the other half would be sent to Vault 32.
Tony.
Tony.
I'm sorry. Her name is Betty.
Betty. Yeah.
Betty okay. You guess who this lady is?
Who?
She is Kizzy from Roots.
I remember seeing her in Deadpool, saying I've seen her somewhere before. I just couldn't put back. She is Kizzy in Roots.
I'm sorry, sidebar, but yeah. So did you talk about how he isn't getting into Vault 31?
Right. So before that, Betty comes out and says, hey, we're gonna repopulate Vault 32, and he's sitting there looking like, how the hell are they gonna do this? They open Vault 32 up. It has been cleaned and scrubbed down. Him and Chet know what's happened, but like, Chet's like, who did this?
Who did this? And that's one of the things that they never answered that.
They never answered that. So then he hacks into Betty's computer because he noticed a correlation that all the people that have been over seer of Vault 33 have come from Vault 31.
When you want to get it done, vote Vault 31.
31. So he contacts Vault 31 and is like, hey, seems to be a problem. They're like, can it be fixed? I don't think so. So whoever was typing it back says, come to Vault 31 immediately. He goes to Vault 31. He sneaks in there, and there is a cyborg in there, basically a floating brain like on a power wheel. Basically,
yo, you know what the what the caption says?
What's that?
Brain on Roomba.
It was a Roomba kind of thing. So this the brain thing goes and says, You're not Betty. Oh no, we're gonna get. He pulls out the dart and try to take him. It's like, stand still.
He just was sidestepping him the whole time. Like, hey,
excuse me. But come to find out, Vault 31, basically, the only inhabitants of Vault 31 is that cyborg, that floating brain, but also you have the cryo chambers for all these people who you saw that were the
Vault Tech people,
the Vault Tech folk from 200 and some odd years ago. Because Betty was a secretary back during that. A younger version of Betty was there, and she was a secretary, and because she was the one that let Coop into his wife's office when he heard her when he was spying on her and everything. So. And then Norm is like, I gotta get out of here. That brain thing, he locked and sealed the door and said, nope, you ain't going nowhere. You done seen this vault. And he's like, you can't keep me here. He was like, look here, you only got two options. Either you stay here and you die, or you get inside your father's vault, your father's cryo chamber, because y'all got the same DNA. and Norm makes a decision to go inside his well. I
But
don't think they
but
really
you don't
show it, but
see it. Yeah, like
we don't see it.
he ain't got no real choice.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like that, so that ending is real dope too. But yeah, shout out Norm, yo. Norm did a real good job with
Yeah.
his character just being like, yo, like being the anti-establishment character and
Mm-hmm.
really focusing on what's not being said. Like
And he is not what he said he was. He told his sister when his sister left the vault. Remember, he was like,
yeah,
I'm a coward.
I'm a little punk.
He's not.
Nah,
He says
nah, nah.
I'm soft.
Yeah,
No.
no, he the one who actually figured it out, and they had to basically
Mm-hmm.
put an end to him. But yo, overall, man, like this series was
Solid series.
solid series, man. Real fun, very humorous. Just some funny things going on. You know what I'm saying? Also, again, the best part of this is the actual world itself. Like
Mm-hmm.
it felt like we were in this weird post-apocalyptic, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like we got random people along the way, like the fake doctor that was trying to sell his snake oil to everybody. And then the dude that was punking what's called the whole time actually took it and it was like, yo, I think you're a ghoul. He's like, oh man, why would I trust that doctor that smelled like that? So it was a
Because
lot of
the
funny
arrow
stuff.
shot him through the neck, and it was like he was like, "Why am I not dead?" And it was like, "Huh?" And he took the arrow out, and his wound healed up, and it was like, "Yeah, man, we think you're a ghoul." He was like, "Oh, I shouldn't have took
Oh,
something. He smelled like that."
he said, I can't go back to the brotherhood like this.
They're gonna kill me. So yeah,
Nah,
so
man. So
I'm
there's
pretty sure they're gonna cross his path again too,
yeah,
at
because
some
he
point.
like his character was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But yeah, that's all we got for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Check back at the channel. A lot of stuff up there. All the episodes for Shogun, all the episodes for X-Men 97,
7.
and some movies and stuff too. So if you want to, definitely go back and check. I got it. Definitely go back and check, and we will see you guys on the next. Anything else? We good? I feel like we good.
Yeah, I feel like we're good. That's it. I mean, solid show, pretty much.
Solid show,
So
man. Yeah. All right, man. We'll see y'all next time.